can make them taste just like bacon.
This mushroom, she's special, okay? She's special because she does stuff that no mushroom has ever done before.
Pretty much the optimum time when you want to pick it.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Meet the Mushroom. Today we are going to be talking about the pink oyster mushroom, or the Latin name Pleurotus jamor. What a name. In these episodes that I do, I will be sharing all of the fun facts about this type of mushroom. I will be also sharing the dangerous lookalikes to this mushroom, all for the sake of, if you ever want to find this mushroom in the wild, that you are fully equipped to do so and safely. But I'm also an artist, as you can see, perhaps. I'm inspired by mushrooms, and so every time that I pick a mushroom to talk about on YouTube, I also make a trading card and a sticker collection from that actual type of mushroom. If you would like to be part of the club, you can join, see description below. But let's get started into the video. Let's get into some fun facts about this type of mushroom. So first of all, this is a really cool mushroom, and I'm sure that a lot of people actually know about this type of mushroom, and if not this specific type, the related one, just the regular oyster mushroom. I feel like I say that word weird. This mushroom has a lot of different nicknames. It is the pink oyster, salmon oyster, the pink flamingo oyster, or the coral reef oyster, or just coral reef mushroom. Lots of different names, okay? Wow. One fun fact about this mushroom is that it's one of the fastest growing mushrooms in a cultivated environment. Does that make sense? If you're growing a mushroom, this is the fastest one. It takes 5 to 10 days from the spore to the full mushroom. Yeah, that's pretty fast. Does this mushroom have a smell? Yeah, it does. And it's kind of interesting. There's a reason why this one's also considered the salmon oyster other than the color itself. That is because it has a fishy odor. For a mushroom, I think that's kind of odd. But I will say whenever it is cooked down, it'll actually have a less pungent smell to it. Yeah, spoiler alert, this is an edible mushroom. Actually, another fun fact along with the smell, whenever it is cooked, it actually has a bacon-like flavor to it, which is an interesting switch from fishy to bacon, because I think that those things are totally different. So this mushroom ends up being a great choice for vegans, vegetarians, that sort of stuff, because this is a yummy tasting mushroom. For scientific discovery, I'm just going to mention it quick. Paul Kummer discovered it in 1871 and probably gave it its Latin name and that sort of stuff. Sometimes people discover it at other times and then they're like, I don't like that name, let's change it to this. And I'm like, okay. The thing that keeps happening, I keep doing my research and everything, everyone changes the mushroom names, the Latin names of them, kind of odd. Does this mushroom have medical potential to it? This is considered a functional mushroom, which basically just means that it has a lot of really great attributes about it, as opposed to other mushrooms that may not be edible at all or deadly. This one's actually good for you. This one is considered antibacterial, antifungal, antioxidant, anticancerous, anti-inflammatory, and anti-diabetic. That's a lot of good things that it's against. Also, I did want to mention the lifespan of this mushroom. If you were to just leave it on wherever it's living, is usually from about 5 to 8 days. Realistically speaking, if this were to be a mushroom that you could find at a store, the thought of that is kind of hard because of how short this mushroom lives. So anyways, we're gonna talk more about that in just a minute. Okay, now let's talk about the features of this mushroom. So, as you can tell from, the title of the video, my shirt and everything, the cap color is obviously pink. It is oyster shaped, which is why it is the pink oyster. It doesn't really have much of a stem, to be honest, because it grows in these like really bunchy clusters. Now, whenever I did my mushroom character for this type of mushroom, I did make one of the characters a standalone, but the other ones I really just made it like a grouping body to where it is just like a mass. It honestly just reminds me of like the Last of Us mushroom fungus parasitic thing. You know what I'm talking about? The creepy looking thing. Now, I'm not saying that this beautiful mushroom is anything like that. It was just like the way that it bunches, it kind of makes me feel like the way that that one is. Kind of creepy, but the caps themselves are actually pretty delicate and thin, even with them all being stacked on top of each other. The thinness of these caps kind of resemble more of the oyster look to them. The stem color, although it doesn't really exist very much, you can't really see it, but it is also pink or white. The stem also is off-center from the cap, you know. Right. This is also considered a shelf mushroom, and so it just sort of does that like brackety thing that a lot of shelf mushrooms do. I kind of mentioned that in my like climbing mushrooms video where I did like a deeper dive on shelf mushrooms in general. Yeah, they kind of like do this. Pretty much, I mean, this is a great representation. Does this mushroom have gills or pores? This mushroom has true gills, which means that they are attached to the under cap, if that makes sense. And they are also pink. This whole mushroom is completely pink, which is something for the girls, actually. Actually, I think there was like a fun fact that back in the day, pink was like a very manly color. So it's not even for the girls, I guess. Okay. Also, I did want to start adding in another little tidbit of information into these videos about the spore print. It is a great way to identify mushrooms, and I just haven't really mentioned it before because I didn't really know what it was. So now that I know what it is, I can tell you. A spore print is whenever you take a mushroom, cut it in half, you lay the cap on a white and black piece of paper, and whatever spores are here will actually drop on the piece of paper, revealing a beautiful design. This is a great way to tell what kind of mushroom is what you're looking at to help identify it. But it's also really cool. I think it's like a fun art project, but you're also cutting it in half. So the spore print of this mushroom is white, but it can also be like a lilac sort of grayish color. This is a gray color pattern for this genus. Pleurotus. 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 Yes. How big is this mushroom? So whenever looking at the size of this mushroom, it's hard to see one mushroom stand alone because it's in a ginormous cluster. These clusters can actually be over a foot in diameter. So, you know, more than this amount. Okay, you know, bushel, I guess. Is that what it's called? Bushel? The mushroom itself is 2 to 10 centimeters or 0.8 to 4 centimeters. Oh, they're cute. Whoa. So decent. But again, they're all in like a bunch of clusters, so it makes them look really big. Also, why this mushroom is considered the coral reef mushroom is because the bunches of this kind of look like a coral reef. Learn something every day. So for the maturity changes, I like to mention this guy in there as well because one particular mushroom can look completely different depending on how old or young it is. The color fades for this particular mushroom to more of a cream or beige color. So it starts out as that really beautiful pink and then it kind of fades off to beige or cream. And again, it doesn't really live that long, so it's kind of short-lived with the pink. Kind of sad. But I will also mention that the texture also becomes a little bit tougher as it ages as well. So again, like those 5 to 10 days. And does this mushroom have a reaction? And I say reaction like whenever it is plucked from the ground, whenever it is cut, anything is happening to that mushroom that wouldn't otherwise. This one typically has a reaction of like turning a whitish pale color. So pink to white. Is this mushroom poisonous or edible? You already know the answer. It is edible. And not only edible, it is widely adored all over the world. It has really nice texture and flavor, and so a lot of people like to grow it. Because its life doesn't really live very long, you kind of just need to grow it at home. Low-key. So that's kind of what people do. And I looked, and there's a lot of people on the internet having businesses of like kits that you can buy for these pink oyster mushrooms. I'm considering doing it personally. I'm not sponsored or anything, and I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but if I do, I will let y'all know for sure. There's a lot of great sources out there for like growing your own. It is super duper rare to find this mushroom in a store because it has a terrible shelf life. It won't last very long, and just like driving it from producer to the store, it would go bad essentially. And honestly, even after one day, it does start to degrade. So that really just negates any sort of transportation or anything at all. I guess if you really want to eat it, you gotta grow it and then you gotta pick it as soon as you want it. Even though this mushroom is edible, it is not safe to eat raw. Okay guys, we don't like to do that here. But yeah, eating it raw is not great. It will probably taste pretty bad. But whenever it is cooked, it is more of a meaty type of texture. It's pretty delicious apparently. I'm kind of interested to try it myself. Not that you're growing any right now. I don't know, maybe you are, but the best time to harvest this mushroom when the caps are curled at the edges. That's kind of cool. But if you leave it for too long, it will die obviously, but the texture will start to get pretty firm and then it will be, I guess, more chewy, I'm imagining. And obviously we'll start releasing spores. Oh yeah, that's right. And also remember guys, we're not breathing in spores. That's really bad for your lungs. So yeah, if you leave this on the vine for too long, it'll release spores everywhere. Okay, well that's good to know. That's good to know whenever I start doing this. Okay, and lastly for this section, common misconceptions. A misconception about this mushroom is because it is a bright, beautiful color. It is maybe considered by some to be toxic or dangerous. That is not the case because there are plenty of mushrooms that are very neutral colors that are extremely deadly. Color doesn't really have anything to do with toxicity in the mushroom world, at least. Yeah, that's a misconception about this mushroom, is mostly just the color being beautiful and bright, scary, but it's not scary as long as you cook it. Okay, now we are going to be talking about the dangerous lookalikes. So the first one on the list is the angel wings. This one is, I think, pretty deadly. Yep, it's pretty deadly. The cap color on this one is a pure white or ivory white color. It kind of looks like, I'm gonna put it on the screen. I don't know why I'm trying to but it does look very interesting. I will say this one kind of resembles it. I will say that the reason why I'm going to be talking about some mushrooms that are not pink is because it is in the same family. And also whenever these mushrooms are picked, the pink oyster, it does have that reaction of turning white. And also with age, it does fade its pinkness. So it is a good thing to kind of mention different colors because of the maturity changes over time. So that's why I'm throwing this one in there. If y'all are like, why is it not pink? The stem color doesn't really exist. It is white, but it kind of just seems like it has only a cap, but it's like all cap. Forget no cap, it's all cap. For this mushroom, it has false gills. They are not actually attached to this under part of the cap. So that means they're peelable. The spore print on this mushroom is white. This one is pretty toxic. Okay, it's pretty toxic. Let's read it. Ooh, it'll hurt your kidneys. Significantly hurts people with kidney disorders. Does this mushroom have a reaction? This one has no reaction whenever it is plucked at all, so no reaction. Angel wings fly away, all cap, no cap, all cap, no cap, all cap. Yeah. Next on the list, maybe not a pink one, but it does look similar, the Phoenix Oyster. That's right, I'm throwing in another oyster mushroom. This is one that people have mentioned that I should definitely talk about. So I will be having a character, obviously, for every single mushroom on the planet eventually. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy. The cap color is a white, tan-ish, beige-ish cream color. Kind of looks like a oyster. What? Go figure. That's so crazy. The stem color, again, this one doesn't really look like it has a stem. It kind of just looks like it's attached. It's all cap. But it is like a whitish pale if you actually do look really closely. This one has false gills. And this one has the same color spore print as the pink oyster. It has like a whitish gray lilac lavender color. Is this mushroom toxic? This one is also edible and it is also highly coveted. It is apparently really delicious and it's not toxic. Does this mushroom have a reaction? It remains unchanged, so no reaction. So there are some differences between these first two dangerous lookalikes. Just keep that in mind. And lastly, for the dangerous lookalike, the pink Waxcap. I was really trying to find a pink mushroom out there and it kind of seems like they're far and few. I did mention the woolly milk cap a couple months ago. You can pop that one on the screen if you're interested in watching that episode. And I would say that mushroom was not even like pink, but I thought it was cute, so I had to make a character out of it. But this one, let's talk about the pink Waxcap for a second. Although it is in a different family, I did want to throw it in here. The cap color is like a pale rose or like a lilac purple color. It definitely has a different shape. It's like a bell. It's like this. Okay. It's definitely a lot different in shape whenever you look at the two different mushrooms. But yeah, the stem color is more like a white color. I would love to do a mushroom character on this one because this one looks like a fairy, okay? I might give her fairy wings, we will see. And this mushroom has true gills that are white. They're tucked underneath there. I think the spore print is white for this mushroom. And as far as toxicity goes, this mushroom is not recommended for ingestion because it's kind of toxic. Just a little bit. It's not deadly, but it's gonna be unpleasant. So it's not a, no. Does this mushroom have a reaction whenever it is plucked from the earth? Is generally brittle and has no significant bruising. So very fragile mushroom. So we're gonna move right along. Moving back to the pink oyster mushroom for a second, let's talk about the climate and ecological role. I really like to learn this stuff because I like to learn about how mushrooms kind of work. If that makes sense, I think it's really interesting. So first of all, where is this mushroom located in the world? It is found in the tropical and subtropical regions like Asia, Brazil, and other warmer climates. I feel like every mushroom that we've talked about, it's had to be like a forest, damp, cold, dark. And this one's like, I like the summer. She's a summer girly. Thrives in warmer temperatures that are 68 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Although this mushroom does live in like warmer climates, it looks like it likes forests and wooded areas. It really likes hardwood trees and it really does like high humidity as well. And sorry for this stream of light. Okay, and the meat of this whole video. What kind of nutrients is this is the part that I like. There's 3 different types of ways that mushrooms can ingest nutrients, and that is being a mycorrhizal mushroom, saprobic, and a parasitic mushroom. Mycorrhizal is buddies with the trees, basically. They're buddies. Saprobic, it waits for the tree to die, and then it likes to eat it. Not a buddy. And then you got the parasitic mushroom. Oh my god. It's the biggest op of trees, okay, and all living things. It'll eat it. It'll literally eat it. So, out of these 3 guys, Take your guesses now, okay? And the winner is... It is a saprobic mushroom. I bet you wouldn't have even guessed that. I did kind of mention that earlier, that it grows on dead logs, but maybe you forgot. Okay, but yeah, this one, it likes to eat dead things. It's a saprobic mushroom. You basically just throw some sawdust in there and it starts chomping on it. So it likes decomposing dead matter. That's kind of what a saprobic mushroom is. I will say that this mushroom, she's special. Okay, she's special because she does some really cool stuff that no mushroom has ever done before. Mycormediation is a type of decomposing strategy that basically uses fungi to clean up waste that otherwise could not be cleaned up. This is a way people have learned how to clean up the mess by using mushrooms. So what I mean is, like, with the invention of plastics, oil consumption by cars, this is a really great way to break down contaminants. So this is a really, really, really cool mushroom. Yeah, it literally can soak up heavy metals, pesticides, oil spills, and other industrial wastes. Crazy. This mushroom is one of the best decomposers. This mushroom could basically decompose anything and even biodegrade difficult materials. I also learned that it is really great for helping out from this like really invasive vine called kudzu. Whenever I looked up images, I was like, oh, that's moss. No, that's a vine. And so I did some research on this and I wanted to kind of just put in this little tidbit of information. So there is this vine called the kudzu that is super invasive. It's fast growing and it'll basically take over entire ecosystems in forests and stuff. You can see the pictures right now. It looks beautiful, but it's also killing like everything. This is why vines can be really pretty, but they can also be really aggressive and invasive to other species. So this is where this mushroom comes in. The pink oyster can help kind of control this outbreak of kudzu in environments. It can break down a lot of the vine itself, and I wouldn't say that it necessarily will eat it alive, but if cut down, it'll biodegrade it pretty easily, is what I'm trying to say. This mushroom isn't the parasitic one that eats living things, so if you just throw pink oyster mushroom, it won't like attack it or anything, but if you like start to chop away, it will start to like really decompose it well. Okay, lastly, is this mushroom rare? Well, since you can just about grow it at home and anybody can get a kit and do so, it's not exactly rare, but it's not exactly common either. Like I was mentioning, you cannot buy this at the store. It's not going to be easy to find it in that way. So I guess in a sense, if you're not growing it at home, it would be considered rare and you may never get to try it. I would love to see if there's any restaurants out there that actually grow these themselves and like prepare them. That would be really cool. That might be a bucket list for me, who knows? But I did want to mention how much these sell for. Depending on markets, if you're in a place where you can just go to a farmer's market and it's a lot more viable for transportation, these go for about $10 to $20 per pound, which I would say is pretty expensive for what it is, a mushroom. I would say that this is kind of an interesting try. I would love to try one, and I will keep you all updated if I do get a kit and start to grow these myself. This being said, it's not exactly commercially harvested because of how fast it dies, but I will say that it is commercially sold in a way for kits and stuff. That in that way, I think it is. Perhaps spore preservation is a little bit easier to manage than the fruiting body itself. It is now time for the game. So the game of these episodes, I like to show pictures of all of the dangerous lookalikes that we talked about. And then I like to throw in a bunch of pictures of the pink oyster. So it is your task to guess which one is the pink oyster and which one's not. I give the answers right after the questions so you can keep track of which ones are which, and I hope you do well. I'll see you in just a second. welcome back. How many did you get right and how many did you get wrong? If you got any wrong, just rewind it and do it again. The whole point of the game is to help you kind of determine what a pink oyster looks like if you're ever hunting for it in the wild or honestly just want to know what it looks like. Okay, it is that time in the episode where I can finally share my art. I worked really hard on these and I think they turned out so cute. So I'm going to swap it over to Other Holly to show you that art. Thanks, Other Holly. Now let's look at the set. For the spread, I kind of wanted to display it in a fun way. I think I might do this from now on, who knows. This is our card. So this is the pink oyster mushroom card. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I hope you enjoyed this mushroom as much as I did. If you want to stay connected with me, you can follow me on my socials. You can visit my website to see all of my current mushroom art. And if you want to watch more of me, you can. I post every week and I have an entire playlist of more Meet the Mushroom episodes. All right, I will see y'all next time. Leave a comment which one I should make next. Okay, bye. If y'all hear a squeaky floor, it's because there is a squeaky floor under me, okay? Also, my iPad is showing. Oh no, you know I take notes. Oh no. I decided, you know what, for the new year, I wanted to kind of do something fun. Why not do pink? I love pink. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm sorry the light is like right here. What the heck?